We are live in the group and we are going to be talking about challenge groups, some of the basics and beyond. So I know there's always this delay between when people go live and when people actually start to hop on. So I'll wait just a couple minutes, but I have a phone right near me so that I can be really mindful of my time and your time, since I'm not always the most concise. I want to make sure that I'm keeping myself on track. So I did hear a rumor though that our new Facebook live format that's coming down the pipes is going to have a waiting room so that people can, like, if they log on early, they'll be able to log on into this waiting room and then we'll be able to sort of start on time. So that would be exciting. But welcome. I see a few people. Hi, Megan. Hi, Brittany. We'll get going in a couple minutes here, guys. Just want to make sure some people can hop on. We can all maybe take a breath, do some meditation. We made it through the day. It's 8 p.m. here on the East Coast anyway, so that's a big deal. It means we made it through the day. We survived. Okay. Just one more minute and we will get going here. I see the numbers start to climb. I see the eye up on the top of my screen that says people are joining, which is awesome. So hi to everybody. Okay, so let's get going. Let's start talking about challenge groups. Caitlin and Courtney did an awesome job giving a lot of the logistical information and some tips and ideas for challenge groups. And so what I thought I would do, because they did such an excellent job with setting up what are challenge groups and why are they necessary, is I thought I would take a step back, because something that I have been hearing from a lot of my coaches and my teammates lately, if you hear a child screaming in the background, I apologize. My older daughter is trying to get down to sleep. But I've been hearing from a lot of coaches of my own personally sponsored and just teammates that they're struggling. They're struggling because they're a newer coach coming on, or they're a brand new coach coming on, and they aren't sure about challenge groups. Like, what do you do as a new coach coming on with challenge groups? And so I wanted to share a little bit of like best practices and tips and ideas for when you're a brand new coach. Where do you start? So first and foremost, what Caitlin said a couple days ago I think was super, super important, and I'm just going to reiterate this one point and then move on. We have to be doing challenge groups. This is like our lifeblood. If you did not come into Beachbody through a challenge group and you just came in with your program, that's totally fine. But somewhere along the way, you probably got into the challenge groups a little bit, or you started to get involved with them, or maybe you ended up joining one. Otherwise, you probably came in through a challenge group. I came in through a free group first, and then I made my way and transitioned into a paid group. This is so important, because if we are not having challenge groups, then what are we inviting people to? We're just sort of inviting, hey, start the program, buy this, do that, but then we don't have a way to support them through it. So it's really, really important. So for new coaches coming on, you really need to understand that challenge groups are how you're going to get people to succeed with their programs. We all know that they can decide, we all know that they can commit. We need them to succeed, because that's when they're going to see results. That's when they're going to become fans and believers and potential coaches down the line. And even if they're not coaches down the line, they're going to be those believers and those fans, and maybe send you recommendations or positive word of mouth. So, and at the end of the day, we obviously just want people to feel better, and they're only going to feel better if they have success. So that's the backstory behind the challenge groups. My tips for new coaches coming on is to remember that you don't have to tackle everything at once, and you don't have to learn or know everything at once, because that happens a lot of the time. When you're a new coach, you're overwhelmed. You're trying to learn everything in the system. When it comes to challenge groups, just know that they are important. They're happening every month, or they should be. And if they're not, you should seek out a different upline or partner or whatever to get into one. And just know that start small, start basic. You will learn things one day at a time, one step at a time. So for a new coach coming on, my number one tip for getting involved with challenge groups is partner up. You're a brand spanking new coach, or even if you're a few months in. Heck, I've only been here a year and I still feel like a new coach many times. I didn't introduce myself, by the way. I'm Kristen Marshall. I've been a coach for a year. I'm a 1-star diamond coach on Epic Dream Team. So partner up when you are a new coach. This means go to your coach sponsor or go to a success partner. If you don't have a success partner that early, just pick somebody that you can partner with. If you feel like the team that you're a part of isn't having a ton of activity with challenge groups, it is totally okay to go to a bigger team. There's not anybody that's ever going to say, no, I'm not going to help you. You have so much support and love and motivation here from your team. Take advantage of it. So that's my number one tip, is partner up with somebody. Okay? You do not have to do it on your own. There is no reason you should be doing it on your own, especially if you're a new coach. My number 2 tip, schedule your groups and get a planner. And I mean, like, get a planner. If you are all over the place and you're not organized, you are not going to know what you're inviting to. You're not going to know how far in advance you have to invite to. I am talking, get a planner and schedule. This is my planner, and I'm OCD and type A, but all of those stickers represent, this entire planner, first of all, is only devoted to Beachbody, my business. And all of those stickers represent trainings, challenge groups, sneak peeks, events, anything going on. Because if you're serious about your business and you're serious about helping people, you have to get organized. So get a calendar and write down when your challenge groups are. This is going to help you because then you'll be able to see in your calendar when they're happening, and then you can, the week before, invite to those groups, or 2 weeks before, invite to those groups. By being able to see it out, you're going to know how far in advance you have to invite to those groups. If you're one of those people that are constantly feeling like, you're like, I don't know when the next challenge group is, or what should I be inviting to? You need to get a planner because that's going to help you with your posting schedule and your inviting. So that's my number 2. Schedule your groups and then get a planner and put them in there. Logistically speaking, the way that I see the comments happening, I know everybody says this, I will come back and respond to them. The way that I run my challenge groups with my team is that I run a free group the first week of the month. Most months I have a free group. Sometimes I'll go every other, but most months I have a free group, and that is the first week of the month. And then the third week of the month, I have my 21-day, it's usually 21 days, paid group. And then the way I do that, the reason why I do that is because my free group is usually no more than 7 days in length. Sometimes it's 5 days, depending on the group that I'm doing. And that way I can take all of those people that have come off of that free group at the beginning of the month, and I have 2 weeks to get them into that paid group. And it gives me the first half of the month to kind of like get believers and get people trusting me in that free group, and then transition them over to that paid group later in the month. So that's how I do it. So as long as you have some sort of system that works for you, get it on paper. Okay, my number 3 tip for new coaches starting with challenge groups, do not reinvent the wheel. If you have ideas and you want to share them, then absolutely share them. Be creative. And if you feel like you have the ability, then go for it. But at the same time, know that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Oh, Tracy, you're so sweet. My coach and old college roommate, Tracy. Don't reinvent the wheel. We are, as a team, have such awesome creative minds, people that want to be writing these scripts and want to be sharing them. I know in my team page, in my uplines team page, and her uplines team page, in the file section, we are constantly uploading scripts and we're working on them together via Google Documents. They are there for people to share and to use. So go into your team pages and the file section and see if there are scripts there. Another thing that I do is, as Caitlin mentioned a couple days ago, I go into the Coach Online office and I use the scripts that Beachbody has given us. If I am doing a program that, a challenge group that is program specific, or if it's a 21-day group, I can actually go in and use their scripts and maybe alter them a little bit, change up the call to actions, make them more me and more tailored to my niche and my crowd. But I use those because I don't have the time with everything else that we're doing to write every last post for these groups. So don't make any more work for yourself than you have to. Use the groups. Use the scripts for the groups that are already there. So don't reinvent the wheel. Another thing that I was going to mention is that along these same lines, I use a Google document and I save all of my scripts. So I save them in my Google document and also in my my team page file section. That way, like, I can look back to last summer, because I joined as a coach late last spring, early summer. So I can now look back to last summer and see what challenge group scripts worked really well, and I can take them back out and use them again. I know, come October and November and December, I can pull out all those holiday scripts and use them again. The people that were in them last year are probably not going to remember the content if they come back in, or if they're new people, they're going to be brand new. So don't make it any harder on yourself. Just know that there are systems in place and there are things in place to make your life easier. So take advantage of it, because this is where new coaches can get overwhelmed sometimes. You want to be offering these free and paid groups. You want to try to keep them basic in the beginning. Don't try to be like all kinds of crazy scripting and that sort of thing as a new coach. Just try to focus on getting a free group and a paid group. And if you are a new coach that really wants to take the reins and go for it with writing a script, I feel like doing a free group is usually easier, because you can do the 5-day or the 7-day, and that's a really nice way to get your feet wet. It's a shorter amount of like work that you have to do. Okay. Number 5, ask to help. You don't have to come out the gate running the whole show. Reach out to your upline, your coach sponsor, or anybody on the team and say, hey, I'm not quite comfortable with challenge groups yet, but I would love to help so I can learn the process more. Can I help with posting? Can I help with coming up with content? Can I come up with a couple call to actions for the post? Just get your hands in there and start doing work. Hey, Danielle, my twin sister. Just start asking to help. That way you get used to the process and you get familiar with it. That's how you're going to learn. And then my number 6 tip for new coaches is engage. Make sure you are engaging in your challenge groups, because if you aren't engaging with your customers, they're not going to feel the excitement and the passion in the groups, and then they might decide not to post or not to check in, or just sort of like write off the whole thing, and you don't want that. So I know Caitlin mentioned, and I know Courtney mentioned, you as a coach need to be acting as the challenger. So go in there, add excitement, respond to the calls to action yourself, and participate, because your energy is just going to drive the momentum in the group. All right, so those are my tips for new coaches. I have a few minutes and I'm actually running on time, I think. Yes, 8:13, woo. Okay, so once you feel comfortable as a new coach with challenge groups, and this might take some time, everybody's at a different level, then you can sort of move on to like your advanced level, like taking it a step further. I always like to create groups to fit a need. So think about your niche. Think about who your market is, who your audience are. Who are you? Think about it and come up with a list. This is going to be one of my call to actions for you. Come up with a list of topics that would fit your niche. I saw somebody ask a question about ideas for free groups, and this kind of goes along with it, and I will respond to that too. And at the very least, if you don't know any topics or can't think of any off the top of your head, like for me, my niche, I'm a busy mom, I'm a runner, I'm a pediatric nurse, which means I'm running around the hospital doing long shifts, doing overnights, doing days. Eating is very poor during those kind of shifts. You really have to work at it. I'm at home a lot with my girls 6 days a week. All of those things kind of speak to me. So in my mind, when I'm creating a list, I'm thinking like busy moms, busy professionals, moms that need quick workouts, runners, so like cross trainers. We're in the summer and a lot of moms are like either pregnant or postpartum, so maybe like a bikini boot camp. Those are all things that I just kind of list off the top of my head. And at the very least, like if you can't come up with a list, then ask your audience. There's nothing wrong with that. We always talk about going live and posting and asking your audience. I have done posts before where I've literally just posted on social media, hey guys, I was trying to come up with my next challenge group, and I was trying to think of what might, help everybody the most, and then I just decided the best thing to do would just be to ask. So out of these 3, which ones do you think would be the most helpful? And then I list like a fit mama group, a bikini boot camp, or a busy professional, something like that, or a clean eating or whatever. And then I ask their opinion. And then you see the feedback and you can move forward with your idea from there. So come up with a list, and in the worst case scenario, just ask your audience. Other ideas for my free groups, I do a lot of clean eating, flat belly. The 21-day fix, we all know, is like a huge program. It comes on sale a lot. It is a phenomenal sort of baseline program for people coming in. So I've run a 5-day, I call it my Fix FAQ group, where I know some people had asked me for my scripts in the last month or so. And I've done that as a 5-day free group to address kind of all the questions about the program, and so people can feel like they can really get everything answered before they commit to it. And then following that program, I tell people I'm going to give you, a clean eating shopping list and a meal planner and all of that, and then they'll have automatic access into my 21-day group. So I do that one a lot too, especially when it's on sale. I find that that's a really nice push. So I do that one too. I also do like a 5-day fit mama, like focused, intense time, focused really on like busy mamas that need like quick workouts. And I always integrate in my my free groups. My workouts are like Tony Horton, or they're Shaun T, or they're Autumn Calabrese. They're a Beachbody trainer that I pull from YouTube so that people can like sample the trainers in those free groups. Logistically speaking, I always grab people's emails before the group starts, whether it's their free group or the paid group. I grab their email, I send them like a email that I have a template of that basically says, here are some tips for getting started. Here's my contact information, here's how you take your measurements, check in with the group, stay engaged, contact me for any questions. And then I always send people some goodies. I always because it's an extra thing that I can offer. So I always send them a clean eating shopping list. I always send them a meal planner, some recipes. If they're doing Shakeology, which most of them are, I send them Shakeology recipes. All of that good stuff so that they feel like they're getting a little something extra from me. And sometimes you'll see me, if anybody's following me or friends with me, sometimes you'll actually see me use that as an incentive in my posts. I'll say, when you respond, I'll send you a free clean eating shopping list. And people are like so drawn to that, and it's helpful for them. Okay, so I think I actually am ending on time. That's a miracle. I'm so long-winded. So that's a little bit more about the logistics. I always have a morning post in the morning for my longer 21-day groups. So I have a morning check-in post. I usually have a midday, like juicy meat, give a tip, an idea, a recipe, something like that. And then at the end of the day, around 5 o'clock at night, I have a check-in post. It's a separate post that comes up every day where people have to check in with their meals, their workouts, their water. It's their daily check-in. So that one serves sort of as a reminder, and I find that works well for people. So I think that's it. As you start with your challenge groups, or you're advancing with your challenge groups, kind of like just keep these things in mind. And if you have any questions, please post them below. And yes, Jackie, I will post the extras in the group that I send out. Your calls to action, number 1, schedule your groups if you haven't done so already. So schedule your groups, get them in your planner, and if you feel the need to, take a picture and upload it to the comment section. And then number 2, brainstorm that list of topics for your niche market. And if you don't feel like you have a list or can come up with a list, then create a post asking your audience and then share that with the group below. So those are your call to actions. That's a little bit more about challenge groups, and I will check back in with all of the comments and answer them below. But I hope everybody has a great night. We'll talk to you soon.